Welcome back to Primary Source China Investment. This week, we're on show Z6, and we're talking about China infrastructure, but not Belt and Road. We're talking about domestic infrastructure because that's not over. And, we've all seen the super fast trains or been on them, and the new airports, the bridges, the magnificent steel and glass by world famous architects. But what might be just as important, albeit a little less sexy, is the movement of goods within China. There's been so much attention to Belt and Road, and we've covered it on this show. But today we're talking about, think about veins and arteries, specifically the great rivers and the constructed canals within China, and how the massive earth moving and subsequent building is decreasing the price and time of moving everything from raw materials to finished products. One thing to keep in mind is the cost of water transportation is approximately half that of rail, a fifth of that of trucks, and 1/20th or 5% of air. So if you can move goods throughout the country via shipping vessel, prices decline significantly. And just a quick map here, the great rivers of China tend to run east and west. Let's call these the arteries. Linking these canals, these newly built canals, those will be the veins. Furthermore, remember that China is a massive landmass. It is the third largest country by landmass behind Russia and Canada. The north-south map is key. There is an existing canal between Beijing and Hangzhou. This is going to double. It's going to go from Zhejiang through Jiangxi province down to Guangdong, and that is going to double the size of the canal. Just a few pieces are being finished. At the center of this is Jiangxi province, home to my favorite food, but more importantly, it is the home of heavy minerals, rare earths, and the largest copper mining company in China, Jiangxi Copper. The vessels that will flow north and south are also going to get a huge upgrade. You're not thinking these small boats that are, have the long tail and going through this small canal, right? These are big. The Wuhan section is going to handle 10,000-ton cargo ships. The Nanning section in the lower reaches, 50,000-ton ocean-going vessels. Compare that to rail, which can only handle about 3,500 tons. So we're getting a massive upgrade in the shipping of goods. Go ahead, Pengguo.
That's right. So it looks like I'm pretty excited. The longest canal is the China Grand Canal, 1,800 kilometers, connected the Beijing and Hangzhou. And it has thousands of years of history and from the Sui dynasty. And obviously, Sui dynasty was replaced by Tang. The major reason is building this Grand Canal, and it cost too much to increase the internal regulations from the all the area. So, but this canal is running for thousands of years. It's hard to see the investment and returns, but it still works. I think probably have a plan to increase this Grand Canal, not just for transport the goods, and also maybe a great way for the tourist routine. So it is really hard to see over such a long period. Obviously, Jiangxi is like the bigger province suffered by the transportation issue. So if that is Jianghuai Canal could be built up, is definitely great for the South China area.
Right, and nearby is Anhui and Hubei, and they're also extending a key canal, what we're calling a vein here. The northern section of this purple line is already complete and allows easy access to the Huai River. When the lower section is completed, it will link the Huai and the Yangtze, the Changjiang, in perhaps the most important province for automobile manufacturing. Anhui has a fantastic science and technology university. It has GDP on par with Portugal or New Zealand. So Anhui is a key key spot for the transportation of these goods at a reasonable cost. The southern province of Guangxi, which borders Vietnam and that giant bay, is also getting a north-south canal. Historically, manufacturers in Guangxi had to find their way to Guangdong province to get a ship. The Pinglu Canal solves this problem and links the Pearl River with the Beibu Gulf and the South China Sea. You can see all of this infrastructure is going to help ship goods not only within China, but also to get them out of China. And decreasing the cost of transportation is a key element here. Obviously, shipping may be a little bit slower than plane, but the cost trade-off is massive.
Exactly, yeah.
So I wanted to put a little of this into perspective. What's it going to cost? Because infrastructure, sometimes it's hard to justify the business case, but want to put it in comparison to the Belt and Road. So Jiangxi, as we discussed at the top, is the largest with an estimated 320 billion renminbi. Hunan Guangxi Canal to link the Greater Bay Area is 150 billion. Henan to build 47 tributaries to the Yangtze, the Changjiang, is 142 billion. Anhui, 95 billion for the Zhanghui Canal, which opened in 2023. Guangxi again with 68 billion for the Pinglu Canal to be finished in 2026. Let's round it to 850 billion renminbi, or 120 billion US dollars. To put this in perspective, China's total Belt and Road commitment for 2023 was 92 billion. So China is spending more domestically just on canals than they did all over the world in 2023.
Yeah, is that another big industry to replace the real estate? But I do see real estate index starting get up. Looks like it get out of the bottom areas. I think as long as real estate area, like this bigger construction, maybe like the traditional ways for the government to spur the economy and maybe bring another another round of the growth economy. So yeah, that's interesting to see that.
Yeah, the argument on the other side is, well, this is again just China government spending to boost GDP. And I don't really know what the right level of government spending is. And I'm not here to debate that, but getting products throughout China more cheaply, that has a huge benefit as well. Because remember, China's a big place. We forget. Everybody wants to just look at the east coast of China and say, oh, the economic activity is there. But, you know, a place like Anhui province is, you know, Hefei is the capital of Anhui. A lot of people may not even have that on their radar. But again, this is where a lot of automobile manufacturing is done. This is also a great university and has the GDP of New Zealand or Portugal. So people can't put that into economic perspective. So I believe that infrastructure, well-meaning, well-spent, does benefit over long periods of time. So we're going to leave it with that, with show Z6. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.